Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravinda. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravinda.
Good morning and good evening. As we begin this session of the Sunlit Path, the Sunlit Path as given, as shown by so many masters and mystics, for us here, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, beginning with this mantra, Om Namo Bhagwate. Om being the signature of the God, that God is present. Namo is a complete surrender, whatever is my capacity, my capability. And Bhagavate, may the divine manifest in me. May the divine qualities manifest in me. May I choose love over hate. May I choose understanding over hostility. May I choose wideness over shrinking. May I choose giving over receiving. May I choose high, the highest possibility of my being, over the everyday habitual patterns that pull me down. So invoking Mother and Sri Aurobindo's grace and presence as we begin this session. So we are on the section concentration, meditation, and work. A very important section, not that any section is not important. So today we'll be finishing up this section because there are just two small passages left. So without further delay, if anybody has the capacity, if they want to read the passage out aloud, the body needs activity. Let's begin.
Good morning, and I'll read.
Yes, Captain. Hi.
The body needs activity. The body needs activity. If you keep it inactive, it will begin to revolt by becoming sick and so on. It needs an activity. It really needs an activity like planting flowers, building a house, something really material. You must feel it. Some people do exercises, some ride bicycles. There are countless activities. But in your little group, you must all come to an agreement so that each one can find the activity which suits his temperament, his nature, and his need. But not with ideas. Ideas are not much good. Ideas give you preconceptions. For example, that is good work. The work is not worthy of me, and all that sort of nonsense. There is no bad work. There are only bad workers. All work is good when you know how to do it in the right way. Everything. And it's kind of communion. If you are fortunate enough to be conscious of an inner light, you will see that in your manual work, it is as if you called the divine down into things, then the communion becomes very concrete. There is a whole world to be discovered. It is marvelous.
Thank you, Captain. I'm assuming you can see the passage. I don't know how I shifted it because can you see it on the screen or it's not up?
I was feeling comfortable to read from my book actually,
Yeah, but do you?
but it is visible. It is
Okay,
visible.
okay. Thank you. Yeah, you read from your book, so that's why I was just asking. I forgot if I had closed and restarted. So thank you for confirming. The title of the passage being The Body Needs Activity. When we start meditation, like, wondering why mother felt the need to put this under this, like not mother, but why we were guided to put this section under concentration, meditation, of course, there's the work element there. But when we start with concentration and meditation, and when we start feeling the joy or the calm and the peace that comes with it, there is this thing that one starts shying away from activity. One just wants to sit and keep meditating or keep concentrating or keep focusing on wherever it is that you do. But Mother is reminding us that the body needs activity. If you keep it inactive, it will begin to revolt by becoming sick and so on. It needs an activity. It really needs an activity like planting flowers, building a house, something really material. You must feel it, Mother says. Some people do exercises, some ride bicycles. There are countless activities. But in your little group, you must all come to an agreement so that each one can find the activity which suits his temperament, his nature, and his need. So it's a possibility that mother is saying this to the children, right? And the school had groups, right? Orange group, green group, different groups. So maybe that's why the word group is coming here. The mother says that one must choose an activity based on his own temperament, his nature, and his need. But this is really interesting because mother says, but not with ideas. Ideas are not much good. Ideas give you preconceptions, for example, that is a good work, that work is not worthy of me, and all that sort of nonsense. There is no bad work, there are only bad workers. So for me today, especially just because I'm talking, I'm sharing and welcoming more reflections. This is the most important takeaway from this. Again, that this dependency we see more and more and more on our reasoning, on our brain, and things that are generated from it, like ideas. But Mother says ideas give you preconceptions. And that is so true. Anything. If we close our eyes and we are given different things, like say gardening or anything, there's something that comes with me with that image. So then I cannot even know whether I like to do it, I don't like to do it. So I'm not able to approach anything fresh. Any reflections, any comments on this? There is no bad world. Mother says they are only bad workers. Okay. So if I want to approach anything and give it the, I don't know, the chance it deserves, I must not approach it with preconceived notions. I know that in theory. But Mother says because you have ideas, you're not able to do it that way. So I think this is quite self-explanatory. Only if we were to follow it and believe it, things would change and we would see. So ideas tell us that is good work, that work is not worthy of me and all that sort of nonsense. There is no bad work, there are only bad workers. All work is good when you know how to do it in the right way. Everything. And it is a kind of communion. If you're fortunate enough to be conscious of an inner light, you will see that in your manual work, it is as if you call the divine down into things, and then the communion becomes very concrete. There is a whole world to be discovered. It is marvelous. So, if we are conscious, fortunate enough to be conscious of the inner light that we are, that lives in us, that we live in, we will see that even the manual work, the divine comes into it, comes down for it. It is working through us, and then the communion becomes very concrete. So there was this quote, I think, in the incarnate word a few days back, and I must have shared it before also, that where it said that it's not just enough to know that all actions have to be offered to her, that all the success and failures are the divines. But it is also important to feel the force that is coming through you at every second, like just paraphrasing, that is with you, to feel that presence in you, with you. That too is very important. So if that presence is with you, it's like, say, if you have to do something with somebody's company who you love, right? You won't really care about what do I do with that person. Walking, yes. Cycling, yes. Talking, yes. Sitting, yes. It's like because the joy is being in that company, being with that person. What you do is not important. That's very secondary. So, similarly, imagine that if we have the grace to feel the constant, like presence of the divine all the time, not just while chanting, not just while reading, contemplating, meditating all the time, which is our truth. The drop is the ocean. It's not just a very small part, it is the ocean. But we don't realize that we are the ocean. But if we were to realize it more and more, the presence that is in me, the presence that is me, that is the main thing. But we with our divided consciousness and divided visions, And it's like, how it's said about a horse that for the horse, they put something around his eyes, right? On the sides that he just looks straight. They don't look here and there. So that's how we see life, that, this is good, this is bad, this is respectful, this is disrespectful, like in terms of jobs, hobbies, things that are valuable, useful. So just to open ourselves more to the other things, the beauty, the closeness we might feel with a lot of things. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I think I had this theory clear, like that there are no hierarchy in works, but really it was not easy for me to really believe that. In practice, I always had these ideas about this work is meaningful and this not so much. I'm starting to understand it deeper. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking with a friend. She was saying that she felt like she didn't knew his 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 place in life, his duty, uh, and she said that she wasn't feeling like God close to her, and it was interesting. I told her that I think that was a clever observation, that if we if we feel the divine close to us, if we are feeling uh, the divine in what we are doing, then probably that question doesn't come. We won't figure that out thinking a lot about what we should do with our life. It's like we are doing with the divine, in the divine. So yes, I thought like I really believe it's about that. If we can take the divine to our life, then life will take care of itself. The divine will take care of us, and we will end up doing what we must. That's the important one.
It's like, based on what you were saying, that we all already feel that we know what is good, what is bad, right? And that's the reason when supposedly something bad happens, we say, oh, does the God even exist? And yes, probably if he exists, he has something against me, right? My life, look at the struggles. My life, there's no end to it. One thing, one thing, one thing, and it's like just one drama after the other. And yet, if there are so many accounts when somebody is asking mother to intervene, to help, and when they are asked that, mother, would you help? And she says, yes, I'll help, but then do know that the best that is from the divine's point of view will happen. Your best would not happen. So if you are asking for me to intervene, know that. Like somebody was very unwell, and there are 2, 3 accounts I've read on that, and the other person's, relative says that, mother, can you help? And of course, when they're asking them to be saved, right? And mother says, yes, I'll help, but whatever is the best for them would happen. So even knowing that, having that certitude that we say we don't know, and yet something in us very fervently believes that I know what is good for me. So say if as a mother, if I cook like burgers and get pizzas and junk for my child, he would say, oh mom, mama, you're the best in the world. And if I make him eat green vegetables and broccoli and stuff, he would say that, why do you hate me? And, especially now that he's in his tween years, his reactions are like as if, you are, everything that you do is against you because things have restrictions, there's a balance. And you look at that and you can smile, right? That see, and yet we know that how the kids turn, right? Like after that stage, again, they are like all sweet and hopefully polite and respectful. So that's the way we are. Like we have our own, this sentence I've heard so many times growing up that, that person is so good and yet see what the God is doing to him or her. So that's like has no context, right? Like it has no ground. Like I don't know, there's nothing which has any fact in that because I would decide that okay, if the person is comfortable, if his business is well, if he has a good car, that means that God loves them and he's getting awarded for being a good person and otherwise not. So just knowing, just recognizing, maybe if we don't even believe in it fully, if we can start recognizing, I guess that's a good step.
Absolutely. At the same time, I was thinking about the quality of the work we do. That I think there are two truths simultaneously. Like every work we do, what we have to do, it's the best thing to do. There are no good or bad works, as the text says. And at the same time, and I think Sri Aurobindo and Mother in the ashram, they also took care of this. That it is okay also to find something to do that is according to our nature, to our capacity. It's also probably important to develop some understanding about what our soul needs or what work to do or some, that is proper to our development and in which we can share the best of us and grow. Probably there is a qualitative, relative aspect of that that is also good to understand.
So if somebody would ask us what we can do, we would mostly not say what we would love to do. We'll tell them what we are good at, right? A child won't do that. Like, so that's, I guess, in our cleverness again, we have already the boxes that we have built for ourselves, right? And we don't explore, we don't give things a chance really because we know this is good, this is bad, this is a good course, this is a bad course. It's not about what I love. And people who are passionate about what they do, truly, they do great. I remember, there is this movie La La Land, in that the person is a jazz player and jazz is dying and stuff. And the girl, the main girl in the movie, she tells him that, people lack passion these days. So just your love for that thing is so inspiring and that inspires others because we want passion. And when we see somebody passionate, so that is a sign, sure sign of success that you will succeed, you will do good because you feel for it. So it's a good thing to maybe connect and keep asking whether, yeah, till I am deciding, I can ask. When mother decides, one can just, yeah.
In fact, the body needs activity from the childhood, we have been told, in fact, but we did not realize that meaning of it. Like there was a proverb, an idle brain is devil's workshop. But we never put it into the practice. So, it remains as a slogan only. And similarly, in the factories and all, it's written work is worship. So any work you are doing that is equivalent to doing puja to God is worship or meditation. But we do not try to find out what is the deepest meaning in this. As Mother is clarified in this, that body needs activity. You have to keep it engaged throughout. Otherwise, all the diseases will come in. Like in case of Ramakrishna Paramahansa, so there was a teacher came to teach him the Advaitavad. His name was Totapuri. So Totapuri, he used to do meditation every day. So the Ramakrishna Paramahansa asked him, the Guruji, you have already realized God. So why you need to do this meditation? Then he started smiling and he said, so it is like a lota. Lota means a metal pot of brass or copper. He says, if you do not polish it every day, so the rust will get in. So you have to continuously every day, whether you like it or not, you have to clean it properly, and you have to brush it. So then only it will be shining throughout. So similarly, our mind also. So we have to keep it engaged always, and otherwise the devil's works of the things, the different things which come in actually. So that was he explained. So even those who have realized God are very at that stage. Also, this is an example for us that yes, we have to keep ourselves engaged in something. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Okay. So this was the body needs activity. Just one small last thing I feel, when I especially read the last part, I have shared this before, I know, but I like to recall it. It's a beautiful memory. I have a cousin, and there's my elder brother's wife, and she would love to cook. She loves to cook, and a cousin, and I met her once, and she was busy cooking very happily, and when I asked her that, I said, I don't like to enter the kitchen and you are so happy. What is about cooking that you like? And she said that, I cook for Krishna and I love when I cook for Krishna because it feels beautiful that my Krishna will be fed with what I cooked. And that I found very beautiful as a child. So after maybe 2 years, when I met her again in the kitchen in her house, I told her that, what she had shared with me, I found it very beautiful and inspiring. And she said, what did I tell you? I reminded her, and she said, oh, that's long gone. Now I say that Krishna cooks, I don't cook. And she said that the flavors of the food are like amazing since I've made that transition. That I do nothing, it's Krishna who's doing everything. So, it's like whatever way we want to take it, whatever spin we want to give it, but having that presence, like if I'm cooking for Krishna, then also it's like he's there, right? And I'm cooking for him. If he is cooking through me, that's even more beautiful that he's in me and he's cooking. So, we have images of spirituality, we have images of work, bad work, good life, bad life, lucky life, unlucky life. So as much as we can drop, as we can see, is great. So much blessing as we can see, we must drop. So the last passage of this section, I guess the most preached, although there's no preaching in integral yoga, remember and offer, remember and offer. We forget, that's the problem. We are forgetful beings. and offer, because knowing we are nothing, we offer everything. So if anybody has the capacity, we'll take up this passage as well. Remember and offer.
I can read.
Yes, thank you.
Remember and offer. When we are concentrated in mental movements or intellectual pursuits, why do we sometimes forget or lose touch with the divine? You lose it because your consciousness is still divided. The divine has not settled in your mind. You are not wholly consecrated to the divine life. Otherwise, you could concentrate to any extent upon such things and still you would have the sense of being helped and supported by the divine. In all pursuits, intellectual or active, your one motto should be remember and offer. Let whatever you do be done as an offering to the divine, and this too will be an excellent discipline for you. It will prevent you from doing many foolish and useless.
Thank you, Juan. Welcoming any reflections? What does remember and offer mean to us individually? If anybody would like to share what it means to them or how it changed over the few months, the last few years. Okay. So just taking up the passage then. So when we are concentrated in mental movements or intellectual pursuits, why do we sometimes forget or lose touch with the divine? I would say this is still specific, right? That if we are doing something, even if we are not doing something, a lot of time we just get lost, right? Lost in life, lost in past and future. It feels so cliche even saying it. And yet we don't stop doing it. Somehow we don't want to hear these things, but we don't want to stop these things as well because we are not putting that effort to stop it or requesting those who can stop it to ask them to stop it. So we forget. That's a fact. We don't have a constant connect with the divine. It's a fact. But it doesn't have to be that way. Just to answer this, Mother says, you forget. I'm sorry, Mother says, you lose it because your consciousness is still divided. You know, our many selves, divided not just in 2 parts or 4 parts, thousands of parts, it's divided. The divine has not settled into your mind. You are not wholly consecrated to the divine life. And our life is a proof of that. Because God is a part of that. The life is not God, not full of God. You know, we have all fallen in love. And the first time, especially when it happens, it's like that the whole being is just full of that person. You start seeing that person's face in other faces that you are seeing. Nobody has to remind you. You have to remind yourself to stop. Nobody has to say, hey, do you remember? Do you remember? But I have to make efforts to remember divine. I have to sit down. I have to focus. I have to remind myself. So this is because right now, till now, the divine has not settled into your mind. It's a visiting faculty. It hasn't been given, you know, the permanent, whatever it is that you call. You're not wholly consecrated to the divine life. I might want to, but I haven't. Just recognizing the facts also helps. Otherwise, you could concentrate to any extent upon such things, and still you would have the sense of being helped and supported by the divine. So if we have that full consecration, then we would have that sense of being fully held and supported by the divine. Mother says, in all pursuits, intellectual or active, your one motto should be remember and offer, remember and offer. You know, there's this story that I don't know who that person was, but they were going in a train and mother was in body at that time, in the physical body. So they told mother that mother, you know, and especially in the ashram during those days, mother would ask, you know, everybody would ask permission. They would tell mother, this is what I'm doing, that is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, can I go? So in that he mentioned he's taking a train from this to this station. He mentioned the time. And then but he did not give the seat number or the bogie or something, like he didn't give the minute details. So there's a story that the train, you know, it kind of met with an accident and the whole train kind of flew and I mean, it should have toppled, but it didn't topple. Like it flew and it felt that somebody has kept it on the ground, like a force. Like even in the news and all, it was like that. How is that possible that it tilted in that angle? And how did it come back and settled? And it didn't, not many people got hurt with the way it was as if somebody put it down. So the sadhak being, you know, very close to the mother, he went to the mother and said that, Mother, how did that happen? Like you saved the whole train. So, I mean, I don't know the details, but mother said, you didn't tell me your seat number. So, you know, I didn't know where you were sitting. So it's so beautiful, right? But when I first heard it, I felt that, you know, mother would know the seat number. Mother should know everything. Why do we have to say that I'm going here, I'm going there, this is my number? Mother knows. But again, the point is, mother knows, but do I know? She knows me, but do I know her? She's in every part of me, but you know, do I know that she's in every part of me? So whenever I am remembering, you know, somehow in a false assumption, we could feel that I'm remembering for the divine, so that divine knows I remember them. But that's like 0% true. It's I who needs to remember that do I remember? Do I remember that I am taken care of? Do I remember I am being held? So this remembrance cannot be stressed enough. And like everything in the beginning, it's a constant effort. But when you are in love, it's effortless, and we have all experienced that. For anything, love for a person, love for a work, love for music, love for anything, then it's not, somebody doesn't have to tell you that, hey, did you do that? You know, the father of my child, he has like 3 alarms set, like one on his stopwatch, one on his Alexa, that to remember to pick up the child at whatever time. And when he asks me, you know, when he calls her, hey, do you remember? And I'm like, is that, you know, I don't say that, but that's something I cannot forget. Like, I don't need an alarm for that this is the time. So I'm not saying that he's not connected and I am, that's not the point, but there's some things that just are there and you don't need an effort or a knocking or an alarm to say that this needs to be done. It's so natural, like breathing, for example. I hope I don't forget to pick him up today after making such big claims, but yeah. Inviting any comments?
Yeah, I think when I used to work in India, I used to work in a really big, large-sized hospital, and we used to have these rounds with doctors, therapists, nurses, and you know, going to each bed and discussing the case, the prognosis, and how it's going to you know, pan out for the client. And at that time, I used to see, like, you know, there was such a difference between the honorary doctors who were like on the top of the food chain, you can say. And some were so humble and so down to earth, connecting with the clients, and some just had an ego which seemed like larger than the hospital. And it's strange, like, if you went case by case, and you would see that these doctors have operated on hundreds of clients. One is an orthopedic surgeon, one is a neurosurgeon, and they have the same skill set. They know what they're doing. And yet, after each operation, let's say the neurosurgeon has operated on the brain, and he says that the operation has gone well, but he still cannot predict what will come through after the operation. So it's a wait and watch. We have to give our feedback of which functions are coming back and which are not. And that's how he then later on, after a couple months, decides, whether really this is worked in the client's favor or no. The same goes for an orthopedic surgeon who operates on the spine. He's not sure, even if the operation has gone well, whether the legs are going to function or no, whether his bladder function is going to come back or no. And I felt like the doctors who were really humble and down to earth realized that this whole process is more like he's a tool, and there's something even bigger than him, even bigger than the doctor's skills and stuff, which has that grace and which predicts that, okay, what's going to happen with this client. And I think that for me was like, and especially coming through these sessions also kind of solidified that experience, that whatever good work we are doing, there's no need to say that I did it, it came through me, you become bigger than your skill. And I think this we need to kind of put into ourselves, not just for our professional lives, but also for whatever kind acts that we do, that it is not us doing it, but it's just we've been put in this fortunate situation by the divine to be able to serve, to be able to help. And I think for me, it's more of this reflection that comes through again and again through what you've said. That, and I think also when we do the wrong, right? The same should apply, that instead of beating yourself down for it, just sit down and say, okay, maybe this was a learning that the divine gave us. So it kind of, you can kind of keep that centeredness for both aspects and not get, washed away and flown by these experiences of good and bad that go through you.
Yeah, thank you, Rita. Yeah, any other reflection, personal sharing on remember and offer? So, and of course, if you want to read more about it, there's so much on remembering and offering, even in Incarnate Word. So, with this, we finish this section of meditation, concentration, and work. So, just taking a sense of where we are. So, this is, I've just pulled up the contents. So, we have finished all this. There will be concentration, meditation, and work. And then others, of course, are left. Yeah. So as we are finishing this section, I thought that since it's concentration and meditation, we should finish with a concentration and meditation, although it's not a very properly guided one, like with spaces and paces, but recently, like a few months back, I came across a video of Dr. Alok Pandey, in which he spoke about widening the consciousness. So there was a small process of how one can expand the consciousness. But after that, he spoke about how one can feel that one is surrounded by love and peace. So we'll hear that. And especially, like I had a NDE and how he described, because he said it's imagination, but it's true. The way he describes, I felt it really resonated with what I felt when I wasn't in the body. So he has used ocean, that because it's easy for us to imagine that we are floating in an ocean made of, say, peace and love and light. But in my case, it wasn't ocean. It was just that, we are held like as if the air surrounding us, the one that is holding us, is filled with that. So it was very beautiful. And I just wanted to reiterate and share that it is real. It's not an imagination. And when the time is right, we would actually also physically feel that, physically or subtly, I don't know, but we don't have to wait for it. We can feel it right now. So if there's anything, please unmute. Otherwise, I'll just pull it up and share. Okay. So that is Dr. Alok Pandey, widening the consciousness. And it might take a few seconds to reach where it needs to. I don't know the exact point. So please, thank you. And if you can't hear the sound, do let me know.
So this wideness of the sky, the stars, it is so relaxing, so liberating. We don't have the fortune now of watching the stars. But even if you just look at, we have the television, and if you just look at these images of galaxies moving, it can liberate us because suddenly the mind gets transported into that wideness. Another method is simply imagining that we are physically becoming wider and wider. So we are not in the house is within our consciousness. And then the city is within our consciousness. And then the earth is within our.
Yeah, just wanted to make this request that if we actually want to close our eyes and feel what he's saying, we would feel that more. So yeah, thank you.
Consciousness, then expand, include the stars, the sky within. It's imagination. But this imagination can open the door one day to a real experience because this is a deeper reality. That's why this imagination works. But there is another way which is so beautiful. That's what the mother says. Imagine you're floating on an ocean. Ocean full of peace, tranquil ocean. Ocean of light, Shir Sagar. And you're just floating on that ocean of light and peace, surrounded by that light and peace all around. You yourself become that light and peace, and that is entering deep, deep, deep inside. It is entering into every cell, every part of a being. And all that you have is that ocean of light and peace. If there is a physical pain, somewhere in the physical body there is a discomfort, just imagine that you are opening this body like you open a carpet which is rolled up. And this body is opening up. All the knots, all the hurts, all the injuries, all the insults, they are like little knots. And you're opening up these knots. You're not analyzing them. Just opening them and opening and invoking her light and peace and tranquility in all these knots. And this body itself opening like a carpet and extending horizontally, wide, wide, wide. And you're floating like a water lily, effortlessly floating like a water lily. All this light and peace is entering from this vastness everywhere, in the thoughts, in the feelings, in the life energy, in the body, in every organ. This peace and light and tranquility is entering deep, 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 full of deep relaxation. No need to change anything. No need to understand anything. No need to worry about past and future. No need to analyze. Beyond all analysis, conception, thought, this peace and wideness of the infinite. And we are bathing in this ocean of peace and infinity, widening our consciousness by identifying with this ocean of peace, tranquility, infinity, relaxing, letting go of everything, relaxing, relax completely, completely pass into the silence behind the stars, silence in the depths, silence behind life, silence which is the birthplace of our soul. And there, be in the lap of the Divine Mother, in a lap free from all fear and care. She is caressing us, the infinite Mother of unnumbered souls. We are in her lap, she is caressing us. She is caressing, healing, filling all with her tranquil peace and light. Peace and light. Peace and light. Jai Ma.
Yes, so that was the process. And a lot of times I also experience not going all the way, not following all the steps. Sometimes just the first few instructions feel enough, right? And maybe it's a gradual process to even go in further and doing all the things one is being asked to do. Because if you're not using a guided meditation, you can just take one piece, one line from this and just easily can spend an hour with just that floating or anything. So not feeling compelled, not again boxing this or feeling that I have to do this fully or, oh, I keep forgetting. Allowing ourselves to be with whatever I can do, and that's enough. I am enough, and even one line of any instruction, any practice that I follow, that I have the grace to follow, is enough. So I will share the link of this and ending the session here. Yes, Shilpa, I'll share the time. It's a very short one, anyways, 20 minutes. It's very beautiful to listen to it fully, but I'll definitely share. And so, yeah, so if there is any comment, any reflection on what we have heard or read, please feel free to unmute. Otherwise, from my side, this section, this section is over. And Yeah. So, thanking grace, thanking divine for the beauty it brings, the teachings bring to our life. Thanking the grace that lives in me, which recognizes that beauty, that wants that beauty more and more in my life. I'm mostly hard on myself. I'm mostly critical or always wanting to do more. But recognizing the divine that is in me, the progress, the quest for progress, as per my capacity, capability, whatever I can do, recognizing it, being grateful for the things I can do, for the surrender, the offering, the remembrance, the sincerity, the honesty that I am capable of today, and aspiring for more and more. That's always a ongoing thing. That's always will be, because perfection is not the point, it can never be reached. But recognizing the beauty that I already have within me, being grateful for that, truly grateful, taking a minute to be grateful for all the love, the kindness, the health, the right longing that is already living, that is already alive in me. Gratitude to Mother and Sri Aurobindo and Dr. A S Dalal for compiling the beautiful Sunlit path for us. May it may guide many lives to where they need to be guided. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. Beautiful session.
Thank you.